ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
The economy, we're still taking rock bottles and pieces of flag and let them hold. We lost the line. We lost the line. All MPD, pull back. All MPD, pull back up to the upper deck.
Chilling new 911 dispatch from the attack on the Capitol last month. Congressional lawmakers relived the attack today as House managers in former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial played never-before-seen security video. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. Their arguments included a list of injuries to hundreds of officers, including lost fingers, eyes gouged, and one stabbed with a metal stake. ABC's Faith Abube is on Capitol Hill with the latest as the Democrats make their case that Trump wasn't an innocent bystander, but instead argue he incited the deadly insurrection.
Never-before-seen video playing in the Senate chamber on day 2 of former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial.
And so they came, draped in Trump's flag, and used our flag, the American flag, to batter and to bludgeon.
The chilling and terrifying footage showing lawmakers just feet away from Capitol rioters on January 6th.
You were just 58 steps away from where the mob was amassing.
That mob intent on finding the House Speaker.
Nancy! Where are you, Nancy?
And Vice President Mike Pence.
Hey, Mike Pence! Hey, Mike Pence!
Capitol police officers seen running to the rescue, rushing lawmakers to safety. In another scene, the insurrectionists banging on an office door. On the other side, congressional staffers huddled in fear, whispering for help.
They're pounding the doors trying to find her. Yeah.
The impeachment managers methodically laying out their case in chronological order, arguing that Trump's betrayal of his oath of office began long before the deadly insurrection.
He fanned the flame of violence, and it worked.
And when the violence began, the House impeachment manager saying Trump did not stop it.
Instead, he served as the inciter-in-chief.
The impeachment managers appealing directly to the senators. Witnesses of the attack now seated as jurors. Some Republican senators calling the Democrats' presentation compelling.
Just a very powerful video.
I'm angry, I'm disturbed, I'm sad.
Trump's defense team ready to make their case once Democrats wrap up their opening arguments tomorrow.
We can't possibly be suggesting that we punish people for political speech in this country.
And while some Republicans appear moved by today's presentation, Democrats were still a long way from getting 17 GOP senators to vote to convict Trump. Faith Abube, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
And we will have continued live coverage of the impeachment trial on our streaming apps. You can watch by downloading our free 10 News app on your phone or your streaming device. We have new details about a body found floating in San Diego Bay. Now, we first brought you there live on ABC 10 News at 7. Tonight, you can see one of the members of the Harbor Police dive team that recovered the body. This happened near the Coast Guard station at North Harbor Drive in Laurel. We're now being told the person was described only as a middle-aged man. Police are trying to identify him now. They say there are no signs of injuries on the body, and it doesn't seem to have been in the water for a long time.
New at 11 o'clock, police are investigating a shooting at Sycuan in Jamul. The sheriff's department tells us they were called in about 6 o'clock because there was someone at the resort with a gunshot wound. The person died. Deputies are working with Sycuan police on the investigation.
Arresting one of their own, a San Diego police officer is out on bail tonight accused of stalking. The arrest comes after a 7-month investigation. As our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo explains why the sergeant is facing multiple felony and misdemeanor charges.
The sergeant has been relieved of his police duties and has been on assignment since the investigation began last June. He currently has no contact with the public. This is San Diego Police Sergeant Marius Chaz, an 18-year veteran of the department, now arrested for stalking. San Diego police say their investigation started last June when a woman reported she was being harassed by her ex-boyfriend. Court documents detail the alleged harassment. In July, the woman was granted a temporary restraining order against Chaz. The woman, who was in a relationship with Chaz at the time, reportedly began getting text messages from unknown numbers saying they had her personal information and nude photos and videos, saying they'd be released if she did not pay money. After their relationship ended, court documents say Sergeant Chaz conducted a traffic stop on the woman and asked her why she was leaving him. The documents state Chaz also showed up at a private house where she was working, blocking her car with his, demanding to speak. The woman changed her number, but court documents say the sergeant found it. Chaz reportedly used the police databases to run the woman's license plate and run a records check on her new boyfriend. The sergeant is charged with stalking, extortion, and false imprisonment, all of them felonies. He is also facing several misdemeanors, including disobeying a court order and destroying or concealing evidence. If he is convicted, he could face prison time and multiple fines. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
In a statement, the San Diego Police Department says it has zero tolerance for domestic abuse in any form, and all personnel will continue to be held to a high standard that our community deserves.
Prosecutors say they believe the murder of a beloved high school teacher in North Park was carefully planned. Today, Jesse Alvarez pleaded not guilty to killing Mario Fierro. Fierro was a teacher and football coach at Cathedral Catholic High School. His fiancée had filed a restraining order against Alvarez more than a year ago, accusing him of stalking and suicidal threats. The court dismissed the case. And today, prosecutors read a letter she wrote about Alvarez.
I stand before you, a woman who has lived in fear of the defendant, Jesse Alvarez, for over a year.
Prosecutors say in the weeks before the murder, Alvarez was caught trying to get onto the high school's campus. He waited outside Fierro's home for an hour before the shooting. On the day of the shooting, Alvarez, dressed in all black, drove his brother's car and waited outside Fierro's home. Today, the judge denied him bail.
New at 11, 2 adults and a child. They are hurt from a fire at this home in Solana Beach. Now, this fire broke out a little after 8:30. This was in the neighborhood across from the fairgrounds near Solana Circle. Firefighters were able to stop the flames from spreading to other homes. The fire department, though, tells us that one person is in serious condition. The other two have injuries that are not life-threatening. Turning now to coronavirus, the county once again reported fewer than 1,000 new cases today, and our test positivity rate, it fell to 4%. That's the lowest we have seen in a long time. But deaths, they still remain high. 51 more San Diegans have lost their lives to COVID, bringing that total to more than 2,900.
Governor Gavin Newsom was full of good news today about our COVID situation. Speaking from Fresno, the governor said that our case, hospitalization, and ICU rates have all fallen sharply in the last couple of weeks, and that will allow more counties to move into less restrictive tiers.
Yesterday, we announced more counties moving out of that purple tier, and we anticipate within a week or two, even more counties moving.
No word if San Diego is among the counties on track to move up. Newsom also said that a deal will be announced as soon as Friday to get California's youngest children back in school. As for vaccines, Newsom says they are scarce right now, but he expects that to improve as early as next month. He also said the first reported cases of the South African variant were identified yesterday in the Bay Area.
And they felt it was a godsend. I mean, that's basically how they described it.
A local church is on a mission to power up devices and lift spirits at local hospitals. It's a story that's positively San Diego. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura shows us how the church's donations will help patients stay connected with their loved ones during the pandemic.
Packed and ready to go are 500 chargers for phones and tablets, a part of Project Charge and Connect by New Seasons Church. This special delivery is for Sharp Grossmont.
Evidently, there is a dire need.
Earl Coleman is deacon at the church in Spring Valley. He says their bishop saw and experienced the need firsthand when he went to the hospital for recent surgery and had to stay there for several days, relying on phone and video calls to keep in touch with family and friends.
As I understand the process is, if you needed your phone charged, you'd have to call the nurse. The nurse would have to put you in line with everyone else. But if they had availability of charges, then they could charge your unit and get it back to you.
In an emailed comment, a spokesperson for Sharp Grossmont said in part, "The chargers will help our patients stay in touch with their loved ones. So important during this time when visitor access is more limited due to COVID. Due to infection prevention, the chargers cannot be shared with other patients at the hospital, so these will come in handy." Coleman says it is so important for patients and their families to be able to feel close when they have to be apart, to not only talk to their loved ones, but see them through video and technology.
There becomes a difference in something when you really just kind of lay eyes on somebody. You know, you can hear something in their voice sometimes, but when you lay eyes on them, you can really see if they're actually what they're feeling or going through.
Sharp Grossmont will receive the chargers on Thursday. Coleman says they plan to donate more chargers to other hospitals. Their goal is to eventually buy and donate 2,000 altogether. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
If you have a story that is positively San Diego, send us an email to tips@10news.com. You can also join our Positively San Diego Facebook group. There you can share your stories and connect with other San Diegans.